I can add 5 dB of input gain. Now jumping up to 3, and I can tell in the room here it sounds it sounds brilliant. Hi, I hope that you're well, or if you're new, thanks for checking out the channel. I'm Matt from Distant Sun Studios, and as you can see, the Neve console has arrived. Today is going to be the first in a whole series of videos where I'm going to be recording and mixing an album through the BCM10. It is our intention to release these songs as a series of singles followed by an album, but more about that later. The first song we're going to look at is called Child, and today I want to show you just how quickly you can pull together a static mix and also how incredible the BCM10 sounds. Okay, let's go. So here we are, all the faders are down. There's 16 channels on this BCM10. The EQs of all the 1073s, they're up here and they're all out. And this is the line level gain for the preamp. And that's set to 0, so it's not adding any colour at the moment. So that's just at unity. So what I'm going to do is just play the track, and then I'm just going to get a balance across these faders and just show you how quickly you can do that. The only thing I have done is I've just panned, where you can see these green lights here. I've just done some panning where there is a stereo signal that's going to be coming in. But I'll talk you through it as we go along. All right, here we go. So we'll start drum overheads. There you go, done. Oh dear. I can't stop laughing. I had to stop the camera there, I must admit, because as I pulled the faders up, I sometimes just forget how quickly and just how effortlessly you can get the mix to come together and just sound so good. So I think at the start I talked about these preamps being set to 0, like unity gain, so I said they weren't adding any colour, which I suppose they're not, other than the Neve sound that you'll be familiar with is part of that circuitry is something called the Mariner transformer, and that's one of the things that creates that colour that you're used to hearing. And this particular console, with it being 16 channels, I think is about 140 of those Mariner transformers are in this console throughout the circuitry. So VU meters here on the mix bus, they weren't going particularly high. I think maybe tickling on 7 or possibly 5. Let's just run it and have a quick look. There we go. So on here we're on 10 to 7, about 10 to 7 here, which is nothing. So I can tell you from experience and running through this for the last few months that if you drive this, it really does saturate the sound, and it just sounds incredible. So there obviously is an element of cohesion from just running through at the unity gain there, but what I found works incredibly well, especially with this track, is if I just go up to the preamps and I just gain them up one click. So if I come up to the top, I can add 5 dB of input gain across all of these channels. Now I should say on the door here, the outputs, I've got all of those set when I was getting the track lined up to -18 dB, which is the level you want to be hitting this console at. So the digital output is -18, it's coming in here, and I'm now boosting that deliberately by a further 5 dB going into those transformers. So that will now start to add a little more colour, and we will see a boost in the signal, particularly coming through to the 2 bus here. So let's see what that does. So there you go. So we're now jumping up to 3. And I mean, I can tell in the room here, it sounds, it sounds brilliant. But the other thing that you can then do is you can just engage the EQ circuits. And by putting those in, you will actually add further coloration to the signal, just putting the circuit in. So I've deliberately set all of these EQs are doing absolutely nothing in terms of shaping the sound, but I put that in and there is actually a difference in sound there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to think the best way of showing you all of this. So I will put all of this back down, I will run the track, and I will gradually click up the gain, and I will gradually put in the EQs. So although you will hear a volume difference, you'll also start to hear what the transformer is doing. And then once I've done that, I'll set up a loop where I can run the loop at unity. I'll then run the loop at 5 dB gain on the preamps, and I'll also then finally run the loop again with the 5 dB of preamps and the EQ circuits in. And what I'll do is I'll then in post I will level match those, so you can actually hear the difference that those transformers and the circuitry is making to the actual sound within the console. And I think it just makes the track just so more cohesive. It just makes everything just sound wonderful. Anyway, here we go. Let me take all of these out and we'll go from there. So I've quickly set up a loop and I'll gradually bring in the preamps. Okay, so here's the loop. So there you go. I'm aiming to get one of these videos up from the series every week, so if you'd like to follow along, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, if you'd like to see the console being installed, well, that's just here. I'm Matt from Distant Sun Studios. Cheers.